Black Philip, I conjure thee to speak to me.
Up next, Russ and I are going to take a look at The Witch in 4K from Second Sight.
And if you sympathize with Black Phillip, love A24, subscribe to our channel, set up the notifications, and keep supporting physical media.
How lovely art thou! Thy embrace!
April 18th on 4K Ultra HD from, dare I say, my favorite company? I mean, they're up there. For all the releases they're putting out and how they're looking, I am really been impressed, and that is Second Sight. Great company. They're putting out The Witch in 4K on April 18th in what appears to be another one of these, collectible box set types, which they really nail every single time. This movie was previously released in 4K back in 2019 already, and it was essentially bare bones. This release is getting a new slate of features and, their usual great packaging. It's going to have Dolby Vision HDR. It's going to have an audio commentary by the director, Robert Eggers, a new commentary by some film writer, new interviews with Robert Eggers, Anya Taylor-Joy, Ralph Ineson, who plays the dad, Kate Dickie, the mom, and Harvey Scrimshaw, who is the brother. So nearly the entire family is back.
Did the goat come back?
There's some other featurettes where some Q&A at BFI London, some other interviews with Robert Eggers in the cast, and then a short film by Robert Eggers as well. And then you've got a rigid slipcase, and then a 150-page hardback book with new essay stills, costume and production design gallery, and then 6 collectible art cards. So this year, they've got coming out Drive, they've got The Hitcher, they've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre they just announced. All these are coming out this year from them. Now, they don't say if it's a set like this, but they just keep announcing really great titles, and if they keep putting out stuff like this, they're rivaling Arrow at this point.
No.
Most of these releases I've gotten from them feel almost in a way better than some of the things that I'm getting from Arrow from time to time. A24 themselves actually started putting out special edition Blu-rays in 4K. They did The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Midsummer, and that new movie they put out, Lamb. And there are these really intricate boxes with, it's almost like canvas box and these nice booklets and stuff. Yeah, they look really, really nice. And when I saw this, I was really happy, and I pre-ordered it right away. But I was curious if A24 might do something similar for this movie.
It's more because that cover is new.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the illustration of her 100%.
That's what I mean. Whereas the goat
looks
or
good.
The crow, the raven, whatever that is.
I pre-ordered this as soon as our good buddy Mark out there hit us up in an email, after this had been announced, a minute after. Lifesaver. Got in there real quick. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that.
Oh, is it already sold out?
I actually don't know. But it's actually...
I was thinking about picking this up.
Really? It was only $39.99 UK, which I think ended up being with shipping less than $50.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's decent. So I know, Russ, you said you hadn't seen this movie before. I think in one way it's responsible for putting A24 really on the map, and then putting Anya Taylor-Joy on the map as well. So their first biggest thing that I remember was Spring Breakers, and that was back in 2013. Then they had a hit with Ex Machina, that movie Room, Under the Skin. And then once this movie was kind of a hit for them, they got Moonlight after that and a couple other big ones, and they just started snowballing from there. This movie, I felt its biggest downfall for people that went in to see it was maybe the trailer, or maybe the thought that this was going to be some insane, scare a second horror film, because this movie is more atmosphere and tension, as well as a mix of some legit scares, but a lot of it's just mood. And it's I don't know if that's that's this guy's deal, where he uses atmosphere in the environment and subtle soundtrack and stuff like that and musical cues to just build this dread. But I could see how a modern audience, or even an audience back in 2016 that saw a trailer that was pitched to them and went there and thought, oh, this is boring.
Why have you turned against me?
So that's interesting. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about this movie.
Really?
Are there detractors out there?
I think it is kind of divisive, as far as some people will say, great horror movie, great this, great that, and most people will say that was boring. The only comment that I would maybe have about it is that it's not as accessible as it could be, because it's a period drama that is taking place in the 1600s New England. And
that's what I was about to say.
The dialogue.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you had subtitles, it might be better. They're using words that you're not familiar with 100%. So again, you're going into a theater and you're can't understand maybe 25% of what the people are saying in terms of, their language. So, I think that's a roadblock for a lot of people too.
I don't know. I think it being a period piece was probably helped in sort of keeping the morons away.
Yes. Yes.
We had a similar conversation about Scream, where you told me that when Scream came out, it sort of launched a new genre or a new wave of like style of filmmaking. And I feel like The Witch did something similar where
I know exactly what you're saying.
this new,
Was
like,
The Witch
I
the
think you've
first?
referred to it as like style over substance. And I think people could probably levy that argument against this if you wanted to. But I do think that this movie holds a good balance of trying to use a certain style. And obviously it's trying to bring you into a world. So it needs to create that element and that atmosphere. But also I think there is substance there that because people weren't getting it maybe the way they expected, that they may have turned on this movie a little bit. But I still think this movie is super effective, whereas other movies that try to be like this movie fail or come across like hollow, and all they could pull off was sort of camera tricks and ambiguity and whatever. Like
to me, when I'm expecting ambiguity, it's not ambiguous anymore.
Right. And that's the thing. This movie's not ambiguous. Hereditary is a good example. That's a really tense, interesting movie, but it's so ambiguous at the end. It's like you don't even know to some degree what happened at the end, what the message was. Like you just are kind of okay. And then, but this movie, it ends in a way that you understand everything that happened. Like there isn't any ambiguity at all. It's like, this is very clear what went down. And I think that it's a success for that. This dude did The Lighthouse after this.
And that was The Witch all over again.
That was more so careening into the territory of like style over substance. I mean, you could probably glean enough away from it to understand what was going on, but it was just a fever dreamy kind of a thing where it was just like one crazy scene to the next. And Willem Dafoe, Belle Biv DeFoe fame.
Oh, nice. He's in it.
Yeah, he's in
I didn't
it.
know he acted.
Yeah, and he, I mean, they just basically said go nuts, and I feel like he did his best sea captain routine, and it just works. I mean, he just nailed it.
It's Willem Dafoe. It probably does work really well. It's probably entertaining as hell.
It's good. It's good. And then he's doing this Northman movie after that, which is that one with like one of them Skarsgårds.
One of them Skarsgårds.
Yeah, one of them Skarsgårds.
That's a shirt idea.
Yeah, one of them Skarsgårds.
One of them Skarsgårds.
Good on you, Anya Taylor-Joy. Congratulations on all the success you've had as a result of The Witch.
She's a viewer.
She's a viewer. Thanks for subscribing and always reaching out. So out April 18th. Russ, did you say you are going to pre-order?
I don't know. I want to watch it.